They want to pay off all of this debt in 5 years, but I think they can do it faster. Their income is $8,833 and their expenses are $8,803. We only have $30 left over. I think if they really pay attention, they can cut back a couple $100 just in this miscellaneous spending column alone. They also do have $420 going into savings every month. They have a lot of credit cards. This is going to be a long-winded video. They also have these loans over here. Now they could do velocity banking with this HELOC, they could do it with the credit cards, or they could do it with both. If we're doing it with both, when we get paid, we pay everything we have to the HELOC. This eliminates that $350 payment. We can use our HELOC to pay our mortgage, our credit cards, or anything else. So we would pay the mortgage and all of the loans with the HELOC. Then after that, we would go in and pay the credit cards with the HELOC. Then we can still do velocity banking on the credit cards to use the credit cards to pay the bills. Now again, we can do velocity banking just on the credit cards, or we can use the HELOC and the credit cards. If we're doing it on the credit cards only, we take the income of $8,833. We subtract any cash expenses, which are $2,260. Remember, cash expenses are anything that cannot be paid with a credit card: the mortgages, the loans, the savings, the life insurance. After we've paid those, we have $6,173 that we can pay to the credit cards, which does satisfy the minimum payments. Then, of course, we have to calculate that they're going to take out some for interest. Let's say that's $1,540. Then we would go back in and put all of the other expenses and spending back onto the cards. All of those expenses, as they're written here, total $3,988. This would mean the credit card balances that month would have gone down $645. Remember, this amount is before we cut back in the miscellaneous spending. If we cut back there, the amount going back on the cards will be less, which would mean we would have paid the balances down more. Now remember, I said they wanted to pay this debt off in 5 years. If they continue to pay these two amounts here for the next 5 years, plus add $100, their debt would be paid off in 5 years, which is why I think they can do it faster. So we would take the $2,155 plus the $1,076 and then add $100 to this amount. They would pay $3,331 for the next 5 years to have these balances paid off in that amount of time. This means even when the minimum payments go down on the credit cards, or maybe you pay some of the loans off, it doesn't matter. You still continue to pay these two same amounts to all of the debts. But if we can cut back some in the miscellaneous spending, the debt's going to be paid off faster. We already did 100, let's look at 200. That would pay the debt off in 4 years and 9 months. If we can find an extra $600, that would pay the debt off in 3 years and 11 months. And this was all before we did velocity banking. So if we pay extra and we do velocity banking, the debt will be paid off much, much faster.